Okay, well, I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar today. My name is Art Manville, and joining me on the call here is Terry. How you doing, Terry?
Hey, super fantastic.
And yes, we're very excited about what's going on in Zango's world. Amazing to see what's been happening in the month of July, which is traditionally a very slow month. Yes, usually it is. It's summer and stuff, and people are taking time off. I can only imagine what might happen when summer is over here with what we've already got started. So yes, you've heard largest single day in Zango's history was on July 20th. Isn't that amazing? The highest commissions were paid out, and of course we exceeded our forecasted demands for the X51, the new product we're going to be doing some training on. And, of course, pre-orders, we're going to give you an update on the shipping a little bit later. And look at what was happening for the month worldwide. So it's not just in the U.S. and Canada. It looks like Zango is hitting another wave of growth. I believe July was one of our best, if not our best months ever. And you can see here's recruiting in Canada up 21%, France up 23%, USA up 24%. UK up 57% in recruiting in the month of July, and Germany up 62%, Mexico up 64%, and Portugal up 244%. And we were just informed last night that Portugal, which has just opened, is the number 4 market in Zango's world already, Portugal. And Mexico out-recruited the U.S. No, so for all of you that have excuses about not being able to afford the juice or not having enough money or whatever, the Mexicans had a huge increase in recruiting last month, and in fact, because of their incredible growth, Mexico now is the number 1 recruiting country in a country where the average person makes about $500 or $600 per month. And Estela Salinas, 500K, is the one that is moving a lot of that momentum. And guess what? The big news, mark your calendars, August the 29th, Estela is going to be coming on our webinar. We're going to try to figure out what the heck is she doing in Mexico and seeing what we can learn from that great leader who has that country absolutely on fire. So let's get into the X51. Yes, you can feel great again. And it is a phenomenal product. Patent pending, all-natural formula. Addresses the metabolic balance for optimal vigor, and we're going to be hearing from some folks today that have been using it, getting great results. And this is a huge market, guys. I'm telling you, Starbucks is losing money from me because I rarely ever feel like the afternoon coffee anymore when we go out, and that's $3. And when we've got the energy drinks that people spend $2 and $3 a day on, and sometimes they drink 2 and 3 of those. And then we've got all the drugs that people are taking to address that problem. So I can tell you this, I can tell you that if people will get on X51, they are going to save money on all those things that you see on that screen there. So it is a phenomenal product addressing a big need in the world. Make sure you find your score. Go to zango.com/X51. Make sure you take your before score and your after score. This is a business training, okay? So I don't mind if I yell at you just a little bit because I'm meant to be a bit of a trainer, but don't drop the ball on creating your own story here, right? In other words, how well you do with your vigor scores is how well you can talk about the product. So make sure that if you've taken your first score, that you take your second score a week later. And if you haven't done your second score, do it right after this call so that you've got your numbers down there. It becomes what we call a talking point, something that you can talk to people about. And when you get a new customer on this, don't drop the ball and not get them to take their score. And in fact, as we have recommended to you before, the best thing to do is when you're calling somebody up and they're just starting on their X51 and you say, hey, listen, have you taken your vigor score? And they say, no, I haven't got around to it yet. I said, well, let's do it right now. Are you online? Let's do it right now. It only takes a few minutes. And so get them on the X/X51. Walk them right through it. That way you can take a note down, and then you can write down their vigor score.
Art, one other thing I just want to bring to the table here is, a lot of people are not on computer and a lot of people aren't sure how to do that. You can print that off, a paper with all of the questions off, and then give it to your downline. We have a lot of people that have coffee parties, tea parties, or Zango parties or whatever. Print those papers out and hand them out. And then I know what Grace Dick does is she hands them out at her 10 o'clock coffee call party, and then she has them hand them back to her so that she knows that, okay, they took the first score, and in another week we're going to have the second score. And so then she can stand to the front of the room and say, hey, look at this score. This is amazing. And it really shows you what's happening.
Yeah, and this is what people are going to see here is that 82% of the people who take their second vigor score are going to show an improvement, okay, in their score. Now, this is very, very important because not that many people are going to be able to identify after a week incredible benefits. That percentage is not as high. But if the score shows them that they're getting better, even if they're not noticing yet, then you can easily get them into the second week on the month supply on the auto ship and turn them into into a business builder. So basically, the company, and I've said this before, and I'm going to be saying this every time I talk about X51, and you're going to hear that from our guest that we're bringing on here in a second. This line right here is the most powerful line. I talked to Eric Welsh about this 200K. Everybody, we just know that this line right here, do you know anyone who is tired, stressed, or depressed? This is the most incredible marketing line I've ever seen in network marketing history because everybody resonates with it. It is the perfect opening line. And so that's the line that you want to be introducing into all of your conversations. And, of course, you can ask them, are you tired, stressed, and depressed? And that can work too. But to me, it's much more powerful to ask in this way because you're actually not directing the question at them, but at people they know. It takes them out of the picture. Plus, doesn't it also introduce the idea that they know a lot of people that are tired, stressed, and depressed, and that if there is a business opportunity attached to this, maybe they would be interested. So without further ado, let's bring on our first guest, Mr. Energy himself. I'm telling you, if you've ever, when you get to be at the premier and above level, where you get to sit at the front of the room at convention and they save all those seats, or if you're a golden ticket winner this year and you get to sit at the front of the room, you will know that John Zenas is in the house because he is Mr. Energy in the crowd. Always appreciate his energy. Loved his CD from Exco Pro. Are you there, John?
Sure I am, Art. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How's it going, John?
Absolutely amazing, my friend.
Well, John, I know you've got a great X51 story here, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I wonder if you could give folks a 60-second snapshot of your Zango story. Listening to your CD, you've been through a lot in your life and lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, sure. Let's see if we can asking John Zenas to fit something in the 60 seconds like putting a kid in a candy store and say you only pick one item.
Exactly.
But my 60-second synopsis is pretty simple, Art. Folks, I've been around this industry for a little over 10 years now, and I first looked at this industry many years ago. First, I was closed-minded because I thought it was a scam. I thought it was a get-rich-quick. I thought it was all those things that some people think it is, and it wasn't any of that. And when I finally got involved, I didn't do my homework. I didn't realize there were some key components that needed to be in place for success. And after doing my homework over a 5-6 year period with 3 or 4 other companies, all those key components were in place at Zango Art. And folks think that it's about a product. It's not. People think it's about the founders. It's not. People think it's about the compensation plan. It's not. And people think it's about the people you get involved in business with. It's not. It's all those things that it takes to be successful in a company, and we have all those things in place. And I'll tell you what, after years of struggling, beating my head off the wall, thinking, saying to myself, what am I doing wrong? What I was doing wrong is I was picking companies that either 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of those key components were absolutely missing. And folks, they are 100% in place at Zango, hands down. Is Zango the only company out there? Absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, it's the only one that makes any sense.
You know what, John? You said a powerful thing yesterday, and I rarely think that most of the people listening on this have this in their mind as they're building their Zango business, and that's that you talked about building a business that you can pass down to future generations?
Oh my gosh, they are. I watch people and folks, and there's probably some guests on here maybe listening, as well as maybe some less active people that are reactivating themselves. And one of the stats you missed, Art, was, and unless you talk about this a little while, is that inactive representatives or less actives was up 37% of inactive or less active people purchased X51, and a lot of those people purchased Zango last month. And that's just another amazing statistic. And folks, that's the kind of business we have. We have a business, Art, that's not around for the next 2 to 3 years, but it's around for the next 2 to 3 generations.
Well, and that's what the founders have stated from the beginning, and I think a lot of people don't realize, this is $1 million business, and if you build it right and build it well, that it's something that can last for a long time, because all the fundamentals are in place. The products work, they're consumable. There's other companies out there that have products that aren't consumable or don't really deliver benefits, or in fact, they don't even have real products, or they've got fancy compensation plans and designed to entrance rather than enhance your business. But Zango has the whole package. So, John, let's get into why you're excited. First of all, let's talk about your X51 story. That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. I'm 37 years old, 2 teenage kids. I mean, that should tell you enough about the stress of my life.
Yeah.
And, after 36 plus years of stress, I guess maybe when I was little I didn't have stress, but as years went on, this 37-year-old body, inhibited some stressful factors, throughout the ages. Losing my dad back when I was 15 years old was obviously stressful. Losing my mom just before my first child was born, obviously stressful. Just different factors. Building a multi-million-dollar business is fun, but it also has its stress on certain days. And to be able to live, honestly, the last 6 weeks of my life with no stress is absolutely amazing. And it's not that I don't recognize stress, and it's not that I don't realize stressful things going on around me. I simply, as I tell people, I don't have to own my stress anymore. And on top of that, to be able to live from, this morning we were up about 6 o'clock, my wife and I, on a Saturday, which is not normal for network marketers on any day, let alone a Saturday. The increased energy levels that take place in the moment our feet hit the floor until our heads hit the pillow, just to be able to have that, vigorous stamina for the entire time that we're functional during the day, from start to go with no more afternoon naps, is pretty amazing, to say the least. So has it been life-changing? I think not only for myself but for my family. My wife will not let me run out of the product, and that's a wonderful thing, because my life has been transformed for the better forever thanks to X51, the product.
John, one of the things that you talked about yesterday that you may even be reluctant to really discuss, but I think one of the things I'm most excited about with X51 is that it can help people in their relationships, and the anger that you might express, that you said would come off with your kids every once in a while is gone. I mean, that can be life-changing for a family.
Life-changing for my kids.
Yeah, for them especially. But
when you go, not that we're harsh on our children, but I think most people experience, the daily agitation of teenage kids or kids in general, and you find yourself probably yelling more times than none, that you really don't, and you really feel bad after the fact, but it's too late.
Yeah.
And, to go 6 weeks without really raising my voice at my children, I think maybe twice, but it was extreme situations, 2 times in 6 weeks compared to 2 times an hour. I think it's a pretty good, wonderful thing.
Well, I'm excited about that, and to me, that's that's life-changing to help relationships and people dealing with one another, and it shows that really we're just reacting to stress, and we're not able to deal with it. X51 helps bring us back into balance. So, what have you been doing, John, to build your business here? What's been working for you with X51?
It's been a whole bunch of different things. One thing I want to just make clear to folks is you shared some statistics and stole a little of my thunder, which I knew you would cover the recruiting efforts. And I hope folks realize as they look over that list of growth throughout the country, throughout the world, folks realize we're up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12 marketplaces, 20% or more, and hundreds in a couple of countries. And folks, only 2 of those countries, USA and Canada, have X51.
Right.
So we don't want to undersell the Zango juice story or Glimpse or any other products by far, because only 2 of those countries that are going through the roof have access to the X51 product at this time. So I just wanted to make that note real quick for those of you that maybe said, wow, look at that growth, and X51's just killing it out there, and X51 is killing it. But on top of that, Zango's killing it worldwide, and it's absolutely
and in fact, the founders they have said that Juice and Glimpse were both up in July, apart from the X51. So our great growth. I know most of the leaders here have experienced 15, 20, 25% growth in the month of July. It's not just X51.
Absolutely, and part of our X51 sharing story is really, I may reiterate some of the stuff that you've already said here this morning, but just like Eric Welsh and you have said, and we have said to folks, is who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? Who do you know that's tired, stressed, and depressed? And, of course, we all know the answer is the person you're talking to says, me, why, is the next answer. And I think this is the part that really, is so important. It's what you say next. And I don't mean this rudely, folks. It's what you say next will matter how little or how big your Zango paycheck is, because they're going to ask why. You need to have an answer for that. And most of, I'm going to say the majority of our team has that answer. And the answer is, what if there was a product, an all-natural product with 5 years of science behind it that 9 out of 10 people could have a positive effect within, 7 days? Do you think it might be worth, 15, 20 minutes to investigate that, or possibly $20 to try it for yourself?
Hey, hold on a second there, John. Great line, and I'm wanting people to get some of these lines, so I'm actually going to slow down here, make sure everybody's got a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm going to ask you to kind of slowly repeat that, because, in the beginning when you're doing something new, you need to have certain phrases that are written down that you access. After a while, it all becomes automatic, but in the beginning, you want certain phrases. John is giving you some phrases. Lisa's going to give you some different phrases. You need to pick out some of these phrases for yourself so that you can respond to people, because it's one thing, like John is saying, to get their interest. It's another thing to have something that can increase their interest. So, John, see if you can do that again. And it doesn't have to, it's not always word for word, guys. We're getting some principles down here a little bit slower.
Absolutely. And most people that know me, Art, realize they better write it down the first time, because 9 times out of 10, I don't say the same thing twice. So I'm not very robotic. And I'm going to, this time when I say it, folks, I'm going to segue, because I 100% lead with the business. And you're going to hear me this time. I may have to repeat it twice, but you're going to hear me this time how I segue from talking about tired, stressed, and depressed right into opportunity, all in the same breath. So you're opening with, Art, who do you know that's tired, stressed, and depressed? Art's going to say, me, somebody I know.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody. And they're going to, and most times I say, why? And my lead-in is going to be this. I'm going to say, well, let me ask you a question. And this is the way to phrase it. Well, let me ask you a question. What if there was a product, all natural, with 5 years of science behind it, that 9 out of 10 people that you knew could have a positive effect within 7 days? Do you think it'd be worth 15 to 20 minutes investigating this, which then, of course, we can use the pre-launch video? Do you think it'd be worth 15 to 20 minutes to investigate this, or even $20 to try it for a week and see for yourself? And let me ask you another question, Art. What do you think a product like this would mean to the people using the product and those from an opportunity standpoint that were willing to introduce this product? What do you think that would mean from a financial perspective? Do you think some people would like to capitalize on something like that?
Yeah, well, this is powerful, and that's one of the reasons I like the question, do you know anyone? Because it changes the energy completely into just wanting to address them strictly with the product, to where you can easily segue into a business. And, would you like to take 15 or 20 minutes and have a look at something, or invest 20? Very, very nice, John. So has that been working? Have you used that a few times?
Yeah, we've used it quite a bit, and, we have folks out there that are, putting out, 2, 3, 4 bottles of samples a day, and, that's not normal, folks. But I'll tell you what, if you can talk to, and I think we all know the numbers here, if you can talk to one new person a day and use that line with one new person a day,
yeah,
your life 365 days from now will be so different, you won't remember who you were.
John, I've said that before. Everybody's thinking about talking to tons of people, but if it was a consistent 1 to 2 people a day, and I'll even give you the weekends off, 5 days per week, and I'll give you 2 weeks for holidays, 50 weeks out of the year. So what John is basically saying, if even one of those lines were delivered per day, and you followed up then, of course, your business would change dramatically. And how long does it take to deliver a line like that?
20 seconds or less.
20 seconds or less, yeah.
Of course, the next step are behind that, and I think you've already hit us a little bit today, and I know Terry's wonderful at this, and that's, following up with people after a few days and asking, what are you feeling, or, or even if you go back to the vigor score, and you look at the vigor score or the vigor questions, you look at the questions they're asking. Those are the questions, folks, that you want to be asking 3 or 4 days into the product, because a lot of people say, well, I don't really feel anything.
Right.
And re-ask the questions on the vigor score. Well, do you see yourself a little less stressed? Do you see yourself being more cheerful to some people that maybe you're not normally cheerful to? Do you see yourself smiling? Do you see yourself sleeping better, maybe shorter hours but better sleep? And I did notice yesterday at work something happened, that I normally get pissed off at, and it didn't really piss me off. Well, that's the product working.
Yeah, John, this is Terry. I mean, that is so important, follow-up. I can't stress that enough with all of our products, but especially with this one, because it can be very subtle, can't it?
Absolutely, and it's truly the follow-up and follow-through, folks. It's getting people onto, I do a call every Tuesday night leading up to the launch here with stories and, the opportunity overview and also training all at the same time. And it's really important, that you're getting people to the next step, inviting them to a call, inviting them to a meeting, inviting them to a 3-way call to hear another story. If you need to be inviting, and does it mean everybody's going to become a business partner and build a business? No, it'd be crazy to think that. But you know what? It may be just enough for them to realize that this is a product they never want to go off of. They may give you a referral, and they may say, you know what, the guy you just put me on the phone with today, or that call that I listened to sounded pretty exciting. I think I'd like to put people on the call with you next week. Would that be okay? So following up and following through. Don't drop the ball on that, guys. I mean, if you take and build, the excitement and the energy and stamina that you had going into the launch last month is what you should be doing right now today times 10, because now you have literally, maybe a handful, dozens, hundreds, or thousands of people now experiencing the product. Now is the time to act on that with the follow-ups and follow-throughs.
Yeah, John, and I put up this X51 experience, and it shows that from week 1, after that week 1, what happens is the vigor score is going up on 80% of the people, but not everybody is noticing or even crediting X51. So that's why the follow-up between week 1 and week 2, by week 2 they're starting to credit X51, and somewhere I lost week 3, but basically they're pretty well locked in on that.
Absolutely. I can't tell you more times than none that we've had people that have gotten on the product, and on day 2 they call us up and they say, I think something's going on, but I think it's in my head. And my neighbor in particular had a brain surgery just about a year ago and had some very, very foggy thoughts and very high stress in his life. And on day 2 he came over to me and he says, do you think it's in my head? I said, I don't know. Come back and see me on day 3. Well, he came back the next day and he said, it's not in my head, John. This stuff works. And he got up at 7 a.m. last week and met me at the Mac machine because we're running out of town to go over to one of our business partner, Karen Huss's house for her daughter's wedding for an entire week. And he actually got up, set his alarm clock, met me at 7 a.m. at the Mac machine to get the money out of the Mac machine to buy a month's supply because he did not want to run out of X51.
After 3 days?
After 3 days.
That's, guys, I know, this stuff can wash over you as you're listening to this. I know that it's like, oh, wow, just another great story. But as someone who has worked from home for 25 years, worked with all kinds of different products, I can tell you, you don't get life-changing results and a product that people are not wanting to run out of after 3 days. It is unheard of. It is unheard of. And I know we just have this built-in skepticism in our brains and lots of negative programs that run of disbelief. But if you realize how powerful this product is and how incredible the results can be with it, with the great majority that take it. I'm not saying we're going to win everybody. Not 100% of the people are going to respond to every product. But when you've got 60 and 70% of the people having incredible results within a couple of weeks, John, and that's why you're excited, right?
Yeah, to say the least. And one statistic I want to throw out there that you may cover this afternoon, most people know, is that 1 out of every 2.5 people in America, unfortunately, look at that good-looking group, in America are on an antidepressant. So if it's not me or you or Terry, it's the very next person every time. And the last time I checked, I know there's definitely life-changing, prescriptions out there that really, do keep people alive. I know that for a fact. But I've never heard anybody jump for joy that they're on an antidepressant. Have you?
No, not really. No, they don't even. Yeah, right. Well, there's all kinds of side effects off of those things as well.
Absolutely, and just threw up a team picture here, and I love to ad-lib a little bit, with this picture, and folks, whether you're building, your Zango business through Zango itself or through X51 or, here in the States, internationally, wherever it may be, keep this in mind. The relationships you have with these people like you see in this picture right now, the relationships you can, grow are equally as important as the business you grow. And if the only conversations as you're building your business that you're having with the people in your organization is who's on your hot list, what's your volume, who can I talk to, if that's the only kind of conversations you're having with the people in your organization, you're not growing, I promise you, at the rate of those that are building wonderful relationships. I know Art and Terry, you guys have done an amazing job, and I'll tell you, I want to commend you on something that I noticed last year at Zango's National Convention, and not knocking anybody at the 500K or anybody in this company, but you were the only ones that stood on the stage last year at National Convention as they interviewed each 500K, and you and Terry said the following words: "We can't wait till we see every single person in Zango on the stage." You did not say our team, our personally sponsored. You said we can't wait to see every single person in this company on the stage. I want to commend you guys for that, because that's true leadership. That's true, a true partnership with the entire company and every person, within this company, not just in your organizations. And that's truly about creating relationships with people. So I, again, commend you guys for that.
Wow, thanks so much, John. I mean, we so appreciate everybody in Zango, and we just want them to have the dream that we've all been able to express and share with our families and friends. And so we appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Well, you guys deserve everything that's came your way, and we know that your business has been blessed because of your caring of other people.
Well, thanks a lot, John. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Great job having you on, and look forward to seeing you in not too distant future at convention. Thanks a lot, John. John Zenas, 100K.
Thank you so much. And Art, can I close with one comment from my wife?
Yeah, please.
We had an event at our home, and this, folks, I hope you're listening well about what I'm about to say here. Art, my wife, and Terry, my wife, has sat back and watched me build network marketing for over 10 years. She's watched me eclipse, of course, the ability to be a stay-at-home full-time dad and a husband for the last 5 years. We went from, obviously, being premier to 100K and way to 200K. And we had a home event 2 weeks ago to kind of pre-launch X51. And my wife, who is a woman of very few words when it comes to network marketing, stood up and said, "Do you mind if I say something?" And I kind of looked up the corner of my eye and said, "Okay." Had no idea what she was going to say. And she said the following. She says, "Folks, I've watched my husband throughout the years." She goes, "We've built this business to a very successful level. And honestly, I got to tell you, with the launch of X51 and what's going on right now here today, I've never seen my husband so excited about the Zango opportunity. And that should be a clue to you that something big is about to happen, and don't miss it." Folks, my words to you today is something big is happening. Don't miss it.
Exactly. Wow.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
So
and blessings to Paige, your wife there. We had a picture of her up with Beverly earlier, and yeah, it sounds like she's stepping out of her comfort zone a little bit there.
Absolutely, guys. Well, the call is yours. We appreciate your time, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, John. Appreciate John Zenas, 100K Premier, well-respected and loved guy in Zango, great relationship builder. And so now we got another great guest that we're going to bring on here, one of our favorite distributors. Some people have known to call her Double Shot because just talking to her gives you a lift. Are you there, Lisa Scope?
Hi, I'm here.
How you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing great. I am absolutely thrilled to be on this call. Thank you so much.
Well, Lisa, you are awesome. I would say and I know this is, I don't want it to sound, overstated, but you are the one distributor in our team, actually, that seems to do the most work in terms of the three-way calls and getting people on webinars and talking to people and signing people up. You're very consistent, so we really appreciate you. Well, let's talk about this X51 and what's been going on with you with it. Basically, you were one of our original guinea pigs, that we got started on it right almost at the beginning, I think.
Yes, I remember that, Lisa?
Oh, I remember that. Yes, I do. And I look back at it, and I remember the day I started taking it was May 24th. I'll never forget that date.
It was very powerful because I can remember doing follow-up with you, and you're just like, oh, my gosh, what is this stuff? Because, of course, back then we couldn't tell you anything, not the ingredients, not what our results were, absolutely nothing. And so it was very exciting to be able to listen and hear you talk about your story. Why don't you tell us your story, Lisa?
Well, I started to take it, and I remember one of the first phone calls that you followed up with me, and I was sort of whispering to you because of where I was at, and I had shared some pertinent information, and it was funny because you said, Lisa, you sound different. And I said, well, it's because I'm whispering. And you said, no, hon, it's not because of that. You are different. And I kind of giggled, and she said, see? And it was kind of cute. Well, what happened is that I continued to take this product. I only had enough for 2 weeks. And I followed the directions just as I was told, and I ran out after 2 weeks. And that was when the huge bombshell hit. I realized very quickly, within days, just how powerful it was affecting my relationships, especially with my children, with my husband, and also my mental clarity, my energy. It was just huge. And I noticed those things. I really noticed them when I was on the product, especially the second week, but it really came clear after I was off the product. And I remember calling you, Terry, about 4 days after being off the product and saying, when can I get more of this stuff?
I remember, Lisa. I felt so badly for you because I could see that the old you was starting to filter back in, and I was starting to get really used to the new you, which is I'm a big tone person with people and their voice and what have you, and I can really tell when people's tones change and their personality starts to make a shift. And so it was really hard to let you run out, but we had to do that. And back now, I'm glad we did. But then we were able to get you back on it, and I was glad now you haven't been out of it.
No, I haven't been out of it. And one other time, though, I came very, very close to being out of it, and I called around because you didn't have any that I could get before the pre-launch came. And
right.
So I was very fortunate to get a hold of Mike Erskine, and Mike said, yeah, I can send you some. So he got his order the beginning of July, and he shipped me some, which was also great because we were able to get my husband on the product at this time. And literally, when the FedEx man drove into my driveway, I stopped what I was doing. I ran out to meet the truck, and he gets out of the truck, and he said, boy, this package must be pretty important. And I'm like, you have no idea what's in that package. And as of today, he's been taking the product now for a week. So,
really?
Yeah. So he was like, well, whatever it is, I want to know all about it. So I just educated him, and he was able to get a 1-month supply from my first order.
Well, let's get into that a little bit, Lisa. One of the reasons I wanted you to come on the call here is because Lisa ordered a lot of X51, and it's all gone. I believe you ordered like 11 1-month supplies, and you ordered 2 of the 6-packs, so that would be 12 bottles of the singles, and, of course, you used 1 bottle for yourself and your husband, I think, and all the rest is gone. Is that right, Lisa?
It is. It's all gone. It's been really exciting to be able to get this product out, and most of that was already sold prior to it arriving at my doorstep because I really was talking a lot about the product and what it had done for me. And it was really easy because I was that test subject. And, you know, I do use the line, hey, do you know anybody tired, stressed, or depressed? And people look at me with sometimes it's like, you know, eyes of a deer in a headlight. Like, what do you mean? Isn't everybody in the world tired, stressed, or depressed?
Yeah.
And it just allows me to go on, and I'll say, well, you know what? I was a test subject for this new natural product, and my, oh, my, it rocked my world. And it just opens it right up, and I can share with them about the product. It has also allowed me on several occasions where one gal was didn't take the juice at this time. She was a new person, and she looked at me and she said, now I know you take some sort of juice too, don't you? And I said, I absolutely do, and you really should take both together. And she said, well, then I want both. And so it just worked out great to be able to share with her to, explain that you're going to be addressing the 4 pillars of health if we are able to have you try both at the same time.
Yeah, that was a sign-up, I think, this week with a case of juice and X51 on ADP, right?
Correct. Yes, it was. And then we immediately started talking about the business because they've known me for a long time. In fact, they own a business right next to where I used to have my restaurant. And so they kind of keep an eye on what I'm up to. They were not interested in the business 2 years ago, but now they're thinking about it. So we're educating on that now. So that's exciting.
Lisa, let's talk about some of the action steps you've been taking. Once again, you've got to get into action if you're going to catch the X51 wave. One of the things you started doing is calling some of your inactives, I believe.
I did. I was calling people that were either inactive or just buying the Zango juice and explaining and letting them know, hey, there's a new product out there. I did send you an email, so I don't know if you've seen it. And some of them had, some of them hadn't, but I was able to, go further with it at that point. In some cases, they said, yeah, I want to try it. Or in other cases, they're like, well, I'd like a little more information. And, both answers were awesome, great. I'll take care of that. I'll get you hooked up, or, I'll have an email out to you in a couple minutes. But it's all follow-up. I'm on the phone most of the day. I have 3 phones, and I go through 3 batteries a day. So, if I don't, then I know I probably wasn't on the phone enough.
Yeah,
but
and
that's
actually,
how I'm doing it.
Lisa, let's talk about some of what I call the people you meet market, the people that you've gotten involved, I think somebody from the gym and so on. And in fact, actually, you're telling me you're getting kind of buff since being on X51. You've been taking up swimming and stuff, and now you've been talking to the aquatics director or something.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I used to swim. That was my choice of exercise. But as I've shared before, I stopped swimming. And there would be times where I thought, I really ought to get back in the pool. But, the action step never happened. I'd think about it. I'd even stop at the pool every now and then and get a schedule, but I never got back in the pool. And once I started on this product, I was scheduling my swim time within a week. And I have been in the water, just loving it again. And I'm back up to 100 lengths for a workout, which is just shy of a mile and a half. And I feel awesome. And my body is changing. It looks more like a couple decades ago. And this is kind of cool. So I'm enjoying that. But I also know the aquatics director because I've been there for many years. And he noticed I was back. And so we got into a conversation. And he said, so what's new, Lise? And I said, wow, what's new? I am on this new product. And Tim, you know what? This is why I'm here. Because before this natural product, before I started taking it, I didn't want to come swim. I thought, and I said, I'm back in, Tim. He says, yeah, I know. You're looking good out there. And so we started chatting, and I asked him, do you know anybody tired, stressed, or depressed? And he literally flew his arms up in the air, and he said, Lisa, if there was something to help me, I would love it. And so he is now on his 2nd bottle of his trials. So that is just cool. He is under so much stress in his position that we are so excited for him.
Also, I think then, Lisa, you just got a bunch more X51 that just came in then after your first group, right?
Yes, I did. I just got 3 more 6-packs. And I happened to be talking to a gal that I met at a local lumber yard, and her background is in holistic natural products, and she and I were chatting. I was never bought flooring, but I met a great new person, and I got to share X51. And so I was doing a follow-up call with her, and I finished my phone call. I happened to be driving, as I also call people all the time on the phone, and while I'm driving. And so I literally hung up the call. I got to my home, and on my steps was my new box of X51. And I got so excited. I picked it up and I shook it, and it had that beautiful little sound that your bottles make, And so I was so excited. I called her back immediately, and I said, Casey, you aren't going to believe this. I just got more X51. This is so cool. And she says, Lisa, I am so excited. You are just so hyped up on this. I can't wait to share this. As a matter of fact, there are some girls right here at work that are very interested in this. I can't wait to tell them how excited you are that you got more in. And I'm like, absolutely. Let's get together soon. So it was so fun to call her back. And she got excited because I was excited.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key, Lisa. You know, I mean, just an incredible job that you've done with this. And also, before I move on, Lisa, and get to the big announcement that the company gave us last night, one of the things you're also working well into your, you know, I talk about the three markets, right? The warm market, the people you know, the cold market, the people you don't know that you have to advertise for, and then the meat market, the people that you meet. And a lot of Lisa's stories that she just told you were what I call meat market stories. She's also big into the Promise Co-op, and we have some great leaders emerging coming from that. And one of the things that you use a lot of are the GoTeamWebinar.com system. And I got a picture up of all the presenters. Imagine that you've got somebody interested in the business, okay, and they want to know more about the business. Imagine having professional, high-quality, very successful presenters that can present the entire Zango story in 30 minutes, and they can do it while they're sitting at home in front of their computer, on the phone line, or listening through their computer anywhere in the world. And you've got John and Anna Mann. Anna Mann, 100K Premier, was on the front cover of the Go magazine. You got John David Mann here, who is an author that has written 8 books. Terry and I were in his downline. He had over 100,000 person downline in a previous company. You got Eric Welsh, 200K Premier. You got myself, Art, here. Eric and I do the Wednesday night one. You got Mike Raish, who is a phenomenal 20K leader that is doing a lot of the logistics behind, and he presents on different days, and John Stetler, a Premier. You have all these people that are there to present to your candidates. And Lisa, you've been using these webinars, and they've been very, very helpful, whether you're using with your cold market or even warm market, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are phenomenal, especially when I am able to bring someone to this presentation that is so well done. They get the very best overview that they could possibly get. And all I tell them is, you know, I could spend 5 phone calls with you, and I can't teach you as much as you would learn on this 35-minute webinar. And so, I recommend this is really the best way for you to have the most amount of information. And then we'll get together after it, and we'll go over your great questions, because I know you're going to have some awesome questions. A lot of questions are going to be answered during that webinar, but, man, you're going to have some great ones, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. I am so excited for you to see this webinar. And
yeah.
that's what I've been saying, and people are like, okay. And you know, sometimes something happens, they don't get on it. That's okay. I call back, and we get them rescheduled. I have very few people who do not make it to a webinar that have scheduled to go on it. It's been phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I got a message from Mike Ray. She says, that Lisa Scope, man, she gets a lot of people on. So your inviting techniques are very good. Your follow-up techniques are very good. And, of course, we do a lot of 3-way calls with your candidates after they've been through the webinar. So anything else you wanted to add, Lisa, before we jump on to the next topic?
I just want to thank you and Terry for everything you do, and especially, you mentioned we do a lot of 3-way calls, and I want to thank you for every single minute that you give to my team and to all the people that I don't even know yet that are going to be on this team. You guys are just phenomenal. I just love you guys so much. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa. We so appreciate you and all that you bring to the table, and I just know that you're going to have lots of people at convention this year, and it's going to be very exciting.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay, guys, great guest. Thanks, Lisa Scope, John Zenas. Lots of information, lots of training in there. I hope you were writing it down. Lots of nuggets, lots of pearls of wisdom is what we call. That's one of the reasons we brought them on. Just to update on the shipping status of X51, they're trying to catch up. You know, we've been outrunning the pre-launch. This is unusual for Zango to not have a product that can be immediately shipped, but you guys have completely blown the doors off of X51. And you can see from here, that all orders through July 25th have been shipped, and they expect the shipping to catch up to ordering around August 13th. We're not going to have unlimited supplies until the launch in September, but if you're on ADP, you're going to be sort of guaranteed to be shipped by August 19th, and so still time to add that to your ADP. International growth. Now let's get into the big announcement from last night. Zango had us on a special webinar, a 500K webinar, and then a Premier and Above webinar talking about international expansion. And I know, some of you may think, well, why would I be interested in international expansion? I'm just sort of getting my business off the ground here. I'm telling you, international is the next frontier, isn't it? And why not have dreams of opening up international markets? And you don't have to necessarily go there to open them up. I can tell you that my upline, Anton Garrity, found somebody in Utah that he knew only lived a couple of blocks from his house that had a contact in Taiwan. And they ended up opening up Taiwan about a year and a half ago. They're doing over $1 million a month in sales. There's something exciting about an industry leader, a network marketing person, about launching a country. They like that idea. Everybody, it's a bit of an illusion, I know, because there's always time to get involved with a good company like Zango. But, lots of people like to get into the idea. So these are the top 5 direct selling association markets that Brazil, Italy, Japan, Russia, and South Korea. And so far, we've only been in Japan. Well, guess what? Italy is opening this fall. And we're already I did a 3-way call. We may have a gentleman on here today from Italy. In one of our lines, it was just somebody that Deb Pazzo and her team knew from Windsor, Ontario. They had an Italian person, I believe, in Windsor that they knew and asked if they knew anybody that would be interested in opening up Italy, and they got in touch with somebody, said, no, I'm not interested, but I'll look around and see, and sure enough, their son is interested, and actually he wants to go full-time, and it's opening in the fall, so we're sowing that seed there in Italy, and then we've got Russia is on the list here, and so this is the big announcement. They're calling it serendipity in Russia because they really weren't planning on opening up Russia for about another 18 to 24 months. And, there's a lot of logistics that have to be in place. Zango is not the kind of company that is going to go into a market until they're ready. There's lots of companies that do that, and then the distributors are left with a disaster on their hands because they don't have all the logistics worked out, and lots of companies do that. Zango's not that kind of company. They're very, very professional. They want all the logistics in place. Well, let me talk to you about Russia. I have a friend of mine that I've known for 25 years, top network marketer, actually worked in Germany a few years ago. I've tried to get him into Zango and just not the right timing for him. But as he was working in Germany, there's a lot of Russians in Germany. In fact, part of German, there's a whole Russian that actually could almost, there's part of Germany that actually could be in Russia because it's all Russian, right? And got to meet some of the Russians. He told me that the Russians are the most incredible networkers he has ever met in his life. They're hardworking. They're dedicated. I mean, this is a major market. And so basically Zango has purchased or acquired a company that was already doing business in Russia. And they were approached by a distributor leader in Europe about this opportunity of this company that was perhaps in financial trouble, didn't have the right product or whatever was going wrong with them. And now that distributor that brought this company to Zango, Zango's purchased the company because they want the logistics, they want the infrastructure, there's a corporate team there that they just really feel highly about. But this distributor is now signing up the entire downline as we speak right now in Russia, or going into his downline, all the distributors from this company that want to join. And in fact, if any of you have contacts in Moscow, apparently they've decided to have a meeting. There's so much interest already in Russia in Moscow tomorrow for 1,000 people. So we're going to have Moscow offices and a pickup center. They have a very unique online payment system there. That's one of the reasons Zango want to get involved. They're very aligned with our values and culture. They're connected with the government. It's good timing. And there's a picture of Aaron. He was on the call last night with the leader of corporate team in Russia, and Aaron was there, and the company's been involved. This has all come together in about the last 2 months. They're very excited about this. So we're also opening Kazakhstan and Ukraine. Checks are going to go up for anybody involved in the pool, plus you can leverage your domestic contacts to expand your business into Russia. Great for our European legs, and I know some of you on the call from the UK are very excited about this. And where do you find people? You know what? I happen to know of one of our distributors that is Ukrainian, and I know she's got contacts in the Ukraine. We're going to be on the call to her within the next day or two, talking to her about who she might know in Ukraine. Cass, our great leader from the UK, says, I'm going to go over to the Russian club that we have in the UK and see if I can find some contacts over there. So it's what you call shaking the bushes. Who do you know that knows people that might like to help open Russia? You never know when you can hit the jackpot with one of these international legs, just like somebody in Mike McCarthy's group is hit with Portugal and so on. So first details, products, Zango Juice is going to be shipped. We're going to be taking up sign-up and orders. Everything's going to be done online as of August 20th. They're going to start taking orders, and then the first shipment, they're going to start taking orders on a pre-order basis August 20th, the first shipment in October, and a big meeting October 8th, I believe. So that's the details on Russia. It's always exciting to open up new countries. And Terry, anything you wanted to add about it? I know you'd like to maybe have a downline in Russia.
Exactly. I mean, Art and I were talking about, wow, we could fly over to Russia and do a meeting sometime. I mean, it's really exciting to think that if you have a next-door neighbor or a friend down that you've known through the years, to phone them up and say, hey, do you know anybody in Russia? I mean, do it right here in your own hometown, whether it's U.S. or Canada or whatever, because everybody knows different people, and this is how you start it. And so I encourage all of you to put your thinking cap on and see who you know in Russia.
Yeah, and Ukrainians and also Kazakhstan. I have a hard time. I'm going to have to work on my pronunciation of that. I just put up another poll here. Who's making the contacts? How many contacts have you made? It's all about making those contacts and talking to people about X51. There's been 382 golden tickets earned for convention already. And 280p. Golden ticket is something I really think everybody should be going for. And look at the rules for that. You can get special seating. We're going to go through that in a second once we close the poll. And let's see here. Let's close that poll, and you can see where you stand and share the results on the poll. So pretty interesting here. About 39%. We've got about 39% at 1 or 2 per week last week, okay? 34%, 3 to 5, 11%, 6 to 9, 7% really going after this. And those are the ones that will be signing up a lot of people. I'll tell you this. If you want your business to grow, if that's your desire, there's only one way that your business can really grow. And that's if you have new members coming into your organization. And if you want to ensure that you have new members coming into your organization, it has to begin with you. You have to start sponsoring. And what I would challenge all of you on here that are looking at this chart, I want you to move up a level this week. So for the 39% that talk to 1 or 2, I want you to kick that up to 3 to 5. For the 34% that talk to 3 to 5, kick it up a level to 6 to 9. For those of you on 6 to 9, kick it up to 10. And for those of you that are in 10, just keep that up. Just keep that up. Don't let up. Don't let up. Keep rolling that. And so you'll see your business start to grow when you get, like John Zena said, one contact asked that question per day will go a long ways. And so the golden ticket promotion, you get 2 tickets to convention. Would you like a free ticket to convention? How about 2 free tickets to convention? Get your golden ticket, VIP registration, group breakfast with the founder. So go to Zango.com and see what it takes to get one of these golden tickets. You have to go up to the next rank or help somebody in your downline if you're 20K and higher, go up to the next rank to get a golden ticket and earn an ABC promotion. And so if you're a 1K, gosh, it should be a no-brainer to get to 5K before convention. And so I really think you've got to get to 5K. If you're just a preferred rep, you can get to 5K. That's how it can be earned. So get all the details on that. And Zango Convention coming up, and the theme is called Thrive. And it is an awesome theme. We're really excited about it, Terry. What can you say about convention?
Yeah, you know, you guys, leaders are made at conventions. I cannot stress enough how to get there and to make sure you bring a team. Don't come alone. That's what I've been telling people on the phone when they're phoning me about information on convention. Do not come alone, you know. It's really important to bring people with you because you're going to learn so much. You're going to be able to talk to so many different leaders there and take in different events. I mean, it's really exciting. We've got the Learn to Earn event on the Sunday, so make sure you stay overnight for that Sunday so that you can go to that. You know, Art and I, of course, will be coming in on the Wednesday because they've got the dinner that night. But, you know, this is where leaders are born, and you're really going to learn a lot. Aaron Garrity, of course, always sings at convention. We just love listening to him sing, you guys. He's an amazing corporate person to be able to sing like he does. You know, you're just going to learn so much. So I can't stress enough. The big problem that we have for convention is getting rooms. You know, make sure that you phone the hotels. You can go into the back office. They have a list of hotels. They're starting to fill up. If you do go to John Gossick's and Doug Weed's event, you can get $25 off of your convention ticket, so you can fill out your form and hand that in. So that's where you can save some money also. And Art, you're going to talk about our next launch event in Washington, D.C. for X51, right?
Yeah, it's just up on the screen there. Special X51 launch event, September 5th, the Ritz-Carlton, Washington, D.C. And guess what? You'll have the new product name, the trial packaging, the new tools, and big announcement, if you're anywhere within a day's drive, a free trial product sample for everyone who attends that event on September 5th. Plus, if you register online for this event at zango.com/events, you guarantee your seat, but you also get this commemorative souvenir for those registering online. And so that is phenomenal. Also, I got one more poll here before we close out the call that I want to put up to you. You know, how many contacts do you know that are tired, stressed, or depressed? I mean, how many do you think you know, really? Give you a moment to think about that. But highly recommend the launch event within a day's drive. The founders are going to be there, and it's all part of the XGO Pro event. They're having a whole weekend training there at the Ritz-Carlton. John Gottschalk, Doug Weed. You can get more information about that at xgopro.com under the calendar there. So always appreciate that. Let's see, we've got, we're going to close the poll here in about 10 seconds. If you haven't voted yet, how many people do you think you know that are tired, stressed, and depressed?
Art loves doing his polls, you guys, so you have to bear with him.
So we've closed the poll, and there we've shared the results of, and you know what? I think you guys are missing the boat because everybody knows 100 or plus people that are tired, stressed, and depressed. But you can see you have a lot of people to contact, don't you? And don't forget, if you're asking any of the people that you know that are tired, stressed, and depressed, do you know anyone? Then that opens up to a whole different world. So, yeah, I had a couple polls I wanted to launch there. So let's work at getting the bottles out. I have challenged people, and in fact, I have challenged people that I believe anybody listening on this call could move 100 bottles in the next month or two. But what if you had a goal to get 12 trial bottles out before the end of the month? 12 trial bottles, 8 of those I believe would buy wholesale. That if you, with follow-up, you could upgrade 8 of those into members, and 4 of those would likely want to share those bottles and bottles with somebody else, and 1 or 2 builders per month can come out of 12 trial bottles. And so that's my suggestion as a goal for you. Make those contacts. If you haven't ordered yet, there are some people haven't ordered yet. That's the pricing on here. Dr. Sean Talbot, also getting tremendous feedback. He's going around the country doing X51 launch events. Go to zango.com, Look up Distributor Events. Heard from Sam White, who graciously records our webinars. Thank you, Sam. Went to see him this week, said he was absolutely phenomenal. So look and keep in touch with Zango.com as to where he might be speaking. Pericarp oil is out. We had Beverly on, getting a lot of great results on the pericarp oil. If you don't have some in your house, you should get some. And also the Glimpse mineral treatment is going to be shipping on August the 24th. We just got that date. So I think that's about it, Terry. We've got Doug Weed and John Godsick coming in here to Seattle this next Saturday. If you're anybody in the Seattle area, you want to get them out to see this. Alina Larson, by the way, has been added, is going to be doing an X51 presentation from corporate. And so we have that August 15th. If you want to register, you save money by pre-registering, $15 in advance or $20 at the door. Send me an email at art_manville@yahoo.com if you have not got a flyer on this, because you'll want to be getting your folks registered on that. Terry, anything else you want to add before we close out the call?
No, I don't think so, Art. I think you covered everything. Also, there's a few more meetings, Art's just showing up here. There's only like 5 meetings left, you guys, and so make sure you get to see Doug Weed and John Godsick. We've heard nothing but great things about the meeting that they've done.
Yeah, we're getting rave reviews from everybody who's seen Doug Weed. He's absolutely captivating, probably one of the top 5 speakers in the world. And you can bring your folks to him. They'll be energized. We've got, let's see here, San Diego, Seattle, Houston, New England, and Salt Lake City coming up here. So thank you all for coming on the call today. I want to open up the lines, give a little cheer to John Zenas and Lisa Scope for coming on and sharing their hearts and giving us some wisdom on X51. Thank you all. We'll talk to you soon.